talking about multi-digit whole number operations. Previously, we talked about the distributive property, which says that we can distribute a number. For instance, in this case, the 4. When we have 4 times 7 plus 8, which would be 4 times 15, we could actually distribute the 4 to the 7 and the 8 individually and do 4 times 7 plus 4 times 8, which would give us 60 still. This would be 28. This would be 32. Add them together, you get 60. We also talked about the commutative property, which tells us that we can switch numbers. This switching numbers, in this case, commutative property applies to both multiplication and addition. I'll show you both. You can take two numbers, and it doesn't matter which of those numbers comes first. You will always get the same answer. So that's how the commutative property works. We talked about those, and we will continue referencing those in the future. Now, if we move on today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the area model. And previously, when we talked about the commutative property, we talked about when we multiply two numbers, we can think out loud, we can think that this means 20 times 5, which is 100, and one more set of 5, which would be 1 times 5, which is 5, would be 105. We also talked about how we can draw So we can draw a box, and we can think of it as 21 sets of 5, right? So here's 5, and then we would do this 21 times, right? But we can also think of it as, what if we just removed this box right here and instead thought of it as, like we did up here, 20 times 5. How many would that be? Well, we know that up to here would be 100, and then we would just have that 5 more, so it's really easy to think, oh, we're just adding 5. So we're kind of expanding on that idea today, and what happens if I give you, again, we'll do 21 times 5, and we'll get rid of this shape, and instead, what if we add this in? And what if we split these into 5? So 5 here. Oh, you know what? Let's do it like this. I'm going to add a box. And then what happens if I split these up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Right. So if we have one set of 5 here, right? 1, 5, or let's say 1, 5. There's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 20 down here, and for the sake of not having to draw them, we have 25s, right? Right, dot, 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 here's all the way up to 20, so this would be 19 and 20, right? We would say that, okay, if we counted, we can draw every box, that's what multiplication is, and know that we would have 100, and then there would be one set of 5, count them, 5, get the same idea. Well, what the area model does is it helps us realize that we can actually, so we don't have to draw all these boxes, we can get rid of them. Okay, we can get rid of them, bring in one box, and say the same thing. Well, if this is 1, if this is 1, 5, these are 5 across, and this is 25s, this is what the area model says. It's still 21 times 5, because if we add these two sides, we still have 21. See, that's representative of that. So in this case, 1 times 5 is 5, and 20 times 5 is 100, and then we add them together. We can even do this with bigger numbers. Let's try it with a bigger number. If we did this with a bigger number, for instance, 31 times 23, what would that look like? Well, if I pulled this apart, 30 and 1 and 23, we have 23 here, and we have, I can do 23 3 times and add a 0, so 23 3 times would be 690 because we got to add the 0, and then we just add them together. And again, once we add these two parts together, we have the area model. You can break it apart further if you wanted to. For instance, I'll show you how that works. So it'll be 690 plus 23. 690 plus 23 would be your answer, which would be 713, right? You could even break it up further. I'm going to show you that too. What if you broke this up plus 3? So then you got to draw a line down the middle because you have 20 this way and 3 that way. What's 20 times 1? Good. 2 times 3 is 6. Add 2 zeros. 1, 0, 2, 0. That's 600. 1 times 3. And 30 times 3, or 3 times 3 is 9. Add a 0. Then you add them all together and look at, you're going to get that same one. What's 90 plus 20 is 110. Plus 3 more is 113. Plus the 600 is 613. So that's how you would use the area model. That is what we're talking about today in this lesson. Area model, how does that work? Still using the commutative property. It doesn't matter which one goes on. We could put the 20 and the 3 here, or the 30 and the 1 up here. Doesn't matter. But that's how you would show the area model.